بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه ومن والاه. My talk is going to be in two parts. First one, which is to a recap for the story that we have started already with. That is the story of the Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. Second part is to elaborate on today, which is the Ashura. And the reason I'm forwarding this, the recap, is that we need the brothers when they come to the Isha prayer, so they could gain more benefit regarding the day of al-Ashura. The story of Yusuf alayhi salam. That was, I think we have made 2 classes regarding that. Yes? Great. And Yusuf alayhi salam, his story, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had made it in one surah, a surah which contained most of the important events. And everything that is regarding Yusuf alayhi salam was mentioned in that surah. And that is why some of the scholars, they said, reciting the surah is sufficient not to interpret it, because it's too clear. The interpretation sometimes brings you some benefits and elaborate on some things which is maybe not obvious, but most of the surah is understandable. So if the person reads it, he will understand most of it. And that is why everybody he enjoys reciting that surah. And even it will be much easier upon you to recite a surah where there is a story in it. The surah had contained a lot of wisdom and benefits. And from those benefits, for example, we learn about the envy and the interpretation of the dreams, the plot of the men and the women, and so on and so forth. Yusuf alayhi salam is the son of Israel, who is Yaqub alayhi salam. Yaqub, as we have said, he's the one who had built al-Masjid al-Aqsa. The name Israel, according to the people of the book, to the Jews, Isra means slave, and Il is one of the names of Allah, according to them, and we're not allowed to use that. That is why it becomes Israel, the slave of Allah. The surah is talking about Yusuf. Prophet ﷺ, he had been asked about Yusuf. He said, Al-Karim ibn al-Karim ibn al-Karim, the noble, son of the noble, son of the noble. And that is the Prophet Yusuf, son of Yaqub, son of Ishaq, son of Ibrahim. All his fathers are to be prophets. We believe he's one of 12 brothers, and 2 of the brothers are from one mother, and that is him and his brother, the little one, the younger one, or the youngest one, and the ones who are older, they're from different mothers. Are they from one mother or different mothers? According to the book of the Jews, they have 3 mothers, different from the mother of Yusuf alayhi salam. Prophet ﷺ, he said that Yusuf alayhi salam is being given half of the beauty. And we cannot really imagine what is the half of the beauty. It's enough for us to know that the women, when they looked at him, almost cut their fingers because of his beauty. And they described him as to be an angel. He was beautiful from the outside, beautiful from the inside. This story came to the Prophet ﷺ when he was in Mecca, after he lost his uncle, after the death of his wife. So the Prophet ﷺ received that surah to comfort him, because when he lost his uncle Abu Talib, the protector, and also his comforter, which is the wife of his Khadija radiallahu anha, so he was in moments of difficulty, and that's why the surah was revealed to the Prophet of Allah in order to give glad tidings to the Prophet ﷺ and to the believers for the victory and the empowering of the land later on, where the Prophet at that time and the companions, they used to face a lot of persecution from the kuffar. So we find at the end of the surah, حَتَّى إِذَا اسْتَيْأَسَ الرُّسُلُ, that is when the messengers had given up, وَظَنُّوا أَنَّهُمْ قَدْ كُذِبُوا, and they have believed that they will be belied, جَاءَهُمْ نَصْرُنَا, our victory, that means the victory of Allah, came to them. فَنُجِّيَ مَن نَشَاءُ, and the ones who we willed for them to be having salvation, they got the salvation. وَلَا يُرَدُّ بَأْسُنَا عَنِ الْقَوْمِ الْمُجْرِمِينَ, and our torture for the people who are wicked and evil cannot be stopped. So that was the end of the surah, to tell the Prophet ﷺ that after this hardship there will be an ease. And that was, as I said, glad tidings for the companions along with the Prophet of Allah. This surah started with a dream and ended up with interpretation of the dream. Started with a dream that Yusuf alayhi salam saw it, and that dream was interpreted later on at the end of the surah. So the dream was that the Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam came to his father, and that is before he became a prophet, and he said to the father of his, إِنِّي أَرَى أَحَدَ عَشَرَ كَوْكَبًا, I could see 11 planets or 11 stars, وَالشَّمْسَ وَالْقَمَرَ رَأَيْتُهُمْ لِي سَاجِدِينَ, and I see also the sun and the moon, all of them prostrating to me. From that moment, Yaqub alayhi salam knew that his son will have the prophethood later on. From that moment, because this is a dream, and the dream is being interpreted by Yaqub alayhi salam as a prophet. So he knew that his son has got something, he's going to have it later on. And that is why he said to him not to convey this dream even to his own brothers. And at the end of that surah, the interpretation of the dream, which is that his brothers, those are the 11 planets, 11 stars, and the sun and the moon, that's his father and his mother, all of them prostrated before Yusuf alayhi salam. That was, as I said, the beginning of the surah was the dream itself. The end of the surah is the interpretation of the dream. Yusuf alayhi salam, he went from one status or circumstances to another circumstances. He went from tragedy to another tragedy, to a trial, and then from prosperity to another prosperity. So we find, for example, the tragedies that he passed through it, the plot of his brothers, that's number one, and number two, the seduction that he faced from the wife of Al-Aziz. The third one, him entering the prison. And that was faced with three prosperities. And the first one was his coming out of the prison. And the second was his empowered in the land by becoming the minister. And the third one, that Allah combined or gathered between him and his father and mother and the rest of his brothers. So that's basically the whole scenario of the story of Yusuf alayhi salam. We're going to come to it, inshallah, as I said, in details. It was a recap from the start for the last two classes that we passed through them. Now, the story itself has a number of indication on the truthfulness of the Prophet ﷺ, because the Prophet of Allah did not meet any from the Jews to know about the story. When he went back when he was in Syria for the trade and all of that before his prophethood, and then he received that story. He came up with the details of Yusuf alayhi salam's story, which the people of the book did not mention, and even the rabbis had hid them. Like, for example, the story of him, Yusuf alayhi salam, with the wife of Al-Aziz. All of that was not mentioned in the people of the book or the book of the Jews. It was not mentioned in the Old Testament. طيب. Now, as we come to the surah itself, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala starts the surah with saying, Alif Lam Ra. These are the letters which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala starts the surahs with. Allah knows the meaning of them. Allahu a'lamu biha. Tilka ayatul kitab al-mubin. This is the verses of the kitab, the book, which is the Quran, al-mubin, the clear. Inna anzalnahu Qur'anan Arabiyyan la'allakum taqilun. Verily we have sent it, a Quran in Arabic, so that you could pay heed and have common sense. نحن نقص عليك أحسن القصص بما أوحينا إليك هذا القرآن وإن كنت من قبله لمن الغافلين. We, that is Allah the Almighty, says to the Prophet ﷺ, we reveal to you, we convey to you أحسن القصص, the best of the stories. Now, best of the stories, the correct opinion regarding this issue is that the stories of the whole of the prophets, not just that particular story, which is the story of Yusuf alayhi salam. So أحسن القصص, that means the story that is included in the Quran regarding the Prophet Adam, Prophet Hud, Prophet Salih, Prophet Nuh, and so on and so forth. So this is basically what the beginning of the surah is about, which is verse 1 to 3. And here Ibn Kathir rahimahullah, he talks about it, and I would have liked for you to recite from the beginning of that, just the meaning of that, just to read from the beginning. So just a recap, jazakumullah. Just come here. You got only 15 minutes, by the way. I'm going to start the 10th of Muharram. From the beginning. Read. I'm going to follow you. Yeah, just read from the beginning and read the interpretation. To read the Quran, the Arabic.
Alif, Bismillah, Alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulullah. Allah has revealed in His honor a surah in the Quran so that people could contemplate upon what it contained of wisdom, admonition, lessons, and manners. He says, Alif Lam Ra, translated into English. These are the verses of the clear book. We have revealed it as an Arabic Quran that you may understand. We narrate to you the most beautiful of stories in that which we revealed to you in this Quran before this, though you were certainly unaware of it. Allah has praised His book that He revealed to His slave and messenger in the eloquent Arabic language, which is equally understood by every intelligent person. It was the most sublime book sent down from the heaven, brought by the most honored angel and to the best of mankind in all time. Whether Quranic context is about past history or future events, it mentions them in the most beautiful way and apparent manner, so that the truth and lessons may become clearer and the falsehood is refuted. And when it is about injunctions and rulings, then it brings us the most just Sharia and clearest path. The Quran says, translated into English, and the words of your Lord have been perfected in truth and justice. True in its narration of history and just in its injunctions, and that is why Allah said, we narrate to you the most beautiful of stories in that which we reveal to you in this Quran, even though before this you were certainly unaware of it. Allah has also said, translated to mean, and thus we have sent to you a revelation by our command. You did not know what was the book and what was the faith, Iman, but we made it a light by which we guide whoever we please of our slaves. And you are surely guided towards the straight path, the way of Allah, to whom belongs all that is in the heavens and the earth. Indeed, to Allah do all things return. It also says in Surah Taha, translated to mean, thus do we relate to you the tidings of what has gone before you, and indeed we have given you a reminder, i.e. the Quran, from us. Whoever turns aside from it on the day of resurrection, he shall bear a burden, abiding therein forever, and evil will be a burden for them on the day of resurrection. What it meant is that whoever turned himself away from this Quran and followed other books for guidance, then he will make himself vulnerable to this divine threat. And it is also narrated in a hadith by Ali ibn Abu Talib radiallahu anh. Whoever sought guidance from books other than the Quran, Allah will lead him astray.
We will leave that hadith to be another authentic hadith, which is authentic. Jabir ibn Abdullah, the Umar al-Khattab, you got it? He came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Go on.
Imam Ahmad has narrated from Jabir radiallahu anh that Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anh came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam with a book which he was given by some Jews. He read that book to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet became angry and said, "Are you in bewilderment, O Ibn Khattab?" By him, bewilderment. Implicit answer, like without
thinking, without planning. That means without impulsive. Yeah. That's what it means. Impulsive. That's the word. Now.
By him in whose hand is my soul, I have indeed brought to you a religion white and pure. Do not ask them about anything, because if you do, they may tell you something right and you may deny it, or they may tell you something false and you may believe it. By him in whose hand is my soul, if Musa alayhi salam were to be alive, it wouldn't have been permissible for him except to follow me.
Basically, this hadith tells us that when we read the book of the people of the book, which is the Christian, let's say for example the Bible or the Torah, the Prophet ﷺ said, "Hadithu an Bani Israel wala haraj." Talk about what Bani Israel talks about, and there is no harm on that. So we don't really believe it, nor we disbelieve it. And we don't take it on board as to be, that is authentic, but also at the same time we don't disbelieve it. So the knowledge of it is better than having no knowledge of it. But it is not beneficial, remember that. But to know the fact that this is what they're saying, then we will know where there is their mistake. So first of all, I have to be well versed into the Quran and the Sunnah in order for me to go and see the things that regarding what the people of the book mention. But to read the people of the book, or the books of the people of the book, which is the Christians and the Jews, on the expense of not reading the Quran, that's not right. And that's when the Prophet ﷺ told Umar al-Khattab radiallahu anhu, what are you doing by holding this, the scripture of the people of the book? For verily, if Musa is to be alive, he would not do anything except that he would follow me. He would not even go to his own book, which is authentic, which is in his own hand. Now at the moment, we can't believe, we are not supposed to say that what is in the hands of the Jews is to be authentic. But even if Musa is to be alive, and he's got the tablet, he's got the commandments from Allah, which is authentic, he would leave them aside and follow the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But now we don't have the same regarding the people of the book. For verily what they got is a mixture. Some of it is from the words of God, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and some of it, and a lot of it is from the word of people, and some of it is to be lies, and some of it is to be not lie. So at the end of the day, our book is muhayminan ali, is the one who's quality control for it. Now, the start of the story, which is the ru'ya, which is the title that is the vision that Yusuf alayhi salam had seen. Yes? Now.
Allah said,
translate please.
When Yusuf said to his father, "O my father, I saw 11 stars and the sun and the moon. I saw them prostrating to me." He said, "My son, do not relate your dream to your brothers, lest they devise against you. Surely Satan is to mankind an avowed enemy, and thus your Lord will choose you and will teach you the interpretation of speech and will complete his favors upon you and upon the family of Yaqub, as he completed it before on your fathers Ibrahim and Ishaq. Surely your Lord is all-knowing, all-wise."
Read, please.
We have already mentioned that Yaqub had 12 male children, to whom all the children of Israel trace their origin.
They're called asbat. Now.
And Yusuf was the noblest and the most honored among them. Some scholars are of the opinion that there were no prophet apart from Yusuf from among his brothers, and that his brothers did not receive any revelation.
And that is the correct opinion. For verily, none of them to be prophets. How can they be prophets? Because we know later on they've accused their father to be an astray. They have plotted against their brother, and that cannot be the quality of a prophet. Can't be prophets. And even you could say that, this is maybe before they receive revelation. No. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He says, Allahu ya'lamu haythu yaj'alu risalata. Allah knows where He's going to put His message, where He's going to choose His prophet. So Allah would choose the prophet to be good before his prophethood and after his prophethood. So all the prophethood had a good reputation, a good character before they received the revelation. So it's not correct to say that those brothers of Yusuf alayhi salam, yes, they were bad at the beginning, but when they received prophethood or became some of them prophets, they became good. That's not correct. So we believe, even though they are the asbat, but they are from the children of Yaqub, but they're not the asbat which is mentioned in the ayah of Surah Al-Baqarah, Ishaq wa Yaqub al-Asbat. Those are the prophets. They are from the lineage of Yaqub again, from the sons of Yaqub alayhi salam. But they're not the direct children of Yaqub, for verily Yaqub only had one child who was a prophet and from his sons, and that is Yusuf alayhi salam. Now, read. Please.
We will see the apparent attitudes and behavior his brothers displayed against him. It seems to be supporting this opinion strongly.
Which is that they're not prophets.
Those who said that they were prophets as well took the evidence from this verse. Say we believe in Allah and what is revealed to us and what was revealed to Ibrahim and Ismail and Ishaq and Yaqub
and Asbat,
the tribes. The holders of this opinion claim that it were Yusuf's brothers meant by Asbat in the verse. However, this opinion is not strong. This is because what is meant by Asbat is different nations and peoples of the children of Israel and those prophets who were sent among them. The notion that it was only Yusuf who was chosen for the prophethood is also supported by the fact that there is no mention of any of them that they were given prophethood apart from Yusuf. We can also support this by the hadith in which the Prophet ﷺ said, the noble son of the noble son of the noble son of the noble, Yusuf bin Yaqub bin Ishaq bin Ibrahim.
So that means only Prophet Yusuf is to be the prophet. That's why the Prophet of Allah, he described him alone. He is to be the noble son of the noble son of the noble. Now,
exegetes say Yusuf had a dream in his childhood that 11 stars, which were an intimation to his brothers.
And that means it's an indication, that it is his brothers. Okay, and the sun and the moon, which are to be his parents. Now,
to his brothers and the sun and the moon, which indicated to his parents who were bowing down to him. Yusuf was awed by this dream. When he woke up, he related this dream to his father. His father concluded that his son would get high rank and position in this world and the hereafter, that even his father and brothers would bow down to him. Yaqub asked him to be quiet about this dream and not to relate it to his brothers, because if they knew about it, getting jealous of him, they may devise a plot to harm him. This is why in some athar it is said,
and this is a hadith, استعينوا على قضاء حوائجكم بالكتمان.
Seek help in fulfilling your needs by hiding it from others, because everyone who possesses a bounty is envied.
So this is a hadith which is to be Hasan, Sahih, as our Shaykh al-Albani made it in the Silsila Sahihah 1453. Now,
it is mentioned by the people of the book that Yusuf mentioned his dream to his father and brothers simultaneously, which is wrong from the Quranic point of view. And thus your Lord will choose you, means that as your Lord had showed you this magnificent dream, if you could hide this dream, he would choose you.
Allah is telling him, so the Prophet Yaqub is telling him, which Allah said it in the surah, وَكَذَلِكَ يَجْتَبِكَ رَبُّكَ. So if you hide this dream, you don't interpret it to your brothers, then Allah Azza wa Jal will give you this reward, which is the being a prophet. Now,
I will teach you the interpretation of speech. Means he will make you understand the deep meanings and interpretation of dreams which others could not understand, and will complete his favors upon you, i.e. by sending down revelations to you.
Become a prophet now.
And upon the family of Yaqub.
And that's because of you.
You will be endowed by the goodness of this world and the hereafter. As he completed it before on your fathers Ibrahim and Ishaq, he will grant you prophethood and send you as a messenger, as he granted it to your father Yaqub, to your grandfather Ishaq, and to your great-grandfather Ibrahim. Surely your Lord is all-knowing, all-wise. As Allah also said in another place, Allah knows best where to place His message. That is why the Prophet ﷺ said, when he was asked about who was the most noblest one, by saying, Yusuf, the Prophet of Allah, the son of the Prophet of Allah, the son of the Prophet of Allah, the son of the friend of Allah.
Okay, now up to here we have explained. Now Joseph and his brothers is going to be explained inshallah next week. So what do we learn from these verses that we have mentioned? Number one, that for the Muslim is permissible for him to warn his brother if there is something going to happen to him. And that's what the father of Yusuf told Yusuf alayhi salam about his brothers. And this is not going to be considered as a ghiba. So if you said, brother, watch out for that person. So this is not considered to be a ghiba. So Prophet Yaqub warned his son not to mention this dream because فَيَكِيدُ لَكَ كَيْدًا. They will plot against you. They will envy you for this because this dream it tells them that you've been chosen by the Almighty. And that was one of the reasons why Prophet Yaqub had more, you see, affection and relation to his son Yusuf because of that dream. And also he's one of the youngest. And because of his character as well, that made him closer to his father than the others. But as well, we learn that the father should be always wise. He should not show his love to one of his children. He should be actually just in the way that he loves his children. Yes, there is natural love that takes place. Like, for example, the one who is absent, you haven't seen him for a long time, you'll have tendency to have more love to him. As soon as you see him, you want to hug him. And the ones who are next to you, have them, because you see them all the time, you don't hug them as the same as the one who comes from abroad. Also, the person when he gets ill, once he gets cured, you hug him. And that's natural. And also the person when he's young, it's always the love, always the youngest takes the love. And he will be spoiled. And that's why the eldest, they're wrong to think the father is not just, if he's, for example, taking his little child and throwing him and playing with him. What do they expect? Going to throw them as well as adults and play with them? It doesn't happen. So the little child has that sort of more attention. It doesn't mean that he's going to give favorism to the little child onto them or give them more inheritance onto them. It's not correct. So this should be understandable. But unfortunately, what happened to the brothers of Yusuf alayhi salam saw it in a different way. Not only that, they accused their father, who's a prophet, to be in Abana lafi dhalal mubin. He is in a clear error. He is being misguided. He lost the plot, basically. Also, we learn from these verses that it is permissible not to show the good things in order not to be envied. Which is now Yaqub alayhi salam telling the Prophet Yusuf, don't tell the brothers of yours about this blessing, which is the dream. Because that dream will bring you what? Envy. So the same thing as a person, you should not, for example, expose your good things to others because people will start envying them. So stop talking about how beautiful is your house and how beautiful is your car and how beautiful is your children, how beautiful. Because if you do so, then you might get somebody who will have an evil eye on you and then you'll be in trouble. And that's where the athar that Shaykh al-Albani made authentic. استعينوا على قضاء وإنجاح حوائجكم بالكتمان. For every person who's got a blessing, he's got an envy. One of the brothers of ours, and he's a sheikh, he said to me, he teaches in university in Indonesia. He said, a person who's known to have little money, not that much, suddenly he bought brand new car. Imagine somebody who was a floor sweeper, or, something that doesn't really make money, but subhanAllah, Allah gave him. He said that he worked something and he made something and he worked hard and he got a lot of money and he bought a new car, brand new car. Now he's telling me what happened, that the person who owned the car, he had suddenly ants eating in the paint. I've never seen ants eating paint. They don't eat paint, brand new paint, So when he talked to him, he said, verily, if somebody told me about it, I would not believe it. Hey, come on, you're exaggerating. He said, I went there and I saw it. And he's telling me, I went with my own eyes, I saw it. I've never seen. Lift up the bonnet. Inside the bonnet, the ants. He had used all types of parasites. For example, killing insects and all of that didn't work. He kills them, it goes back again. So what he did, he read on the car. He made his recitation on the car. And also put his hands on it. And he had also recited in the water, he believes in that. And he put that water into that car. Since that day, since that moment, there was no ants coming approaching that car. That's an envy. So the envy kills. And that's why the Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّ الْعَيْنَ Verily the evil eye, لَتُدْخِلُ الرَّجُلَ الْقَبْرَ It will make the person enter the grave, that means to die. وَالْجَمَلَ الْقِدْرَ And the camel to enter the cauldron, that means the cooking pan. That means the camel will be walking, this one got an evil eye on it, fall down, and he will be slaughtered. SubhanAllah. So the evil eye is true. In al-ayn al-haqq. So it is from this ayat we learn that it is allowed for you to hide your good things. Also, from these verses we learn that Yaqub alayhi salam, he was an interpreter of visions. And also his son later on he will be as well, an interpreter of visions. And also in this verses we learn that the good vision should not be related or conveyed except to a person who is knowledgeable and whom you love, whom you trust. You don't give it to anybody because that vision could be misinterpreted and then you end up with a disaster. And in that also in these verses we learn that Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam, he had received his prophethood. وَكَذَلِكَ يَجْتَبِيكَ رَبُّكَ وَكَذَلِكَ يَجْتَبِيكَ رَبُّكَ That means Allah chooses you, or Allah chose you for his prophethood. Now inshallah, as I said, next week we'll start talking about the evil plot of the brothers of Yusuf alayhi salam to him. And I think last time we talked about why, or the reason why we could say the Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam loved his son Yusuf alayhi salam. Yes, we've given, you've given that. Alhamdulillah. We're giving the reasons, one of the reasons, yes. We gave 6 reasons, and we said as well, one of them is that the mother of Yusuf alayhi salam could have been dead, and the one who prostrated, yes? The one who prostrated was his aunt. If it's that true, then there could be another reason as well why. Okay, this is, as I said, a recap, so next week we'll build on top of this. And my second part of the talk, as we said at the beginning of this session, is going to be about the day of Ashura. I've got good 7 minutes, 8 minutes, inshallah. Yeah. طيب. Ashura is a day that everybody knows. It's a month of Muharram that we should know. That the month of Muharram is a month which Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordained for it to be a sacred month. And the sacred months are to be 4 months. And the only month which the Prophet ﷺ to be labeling it as to be the month of Allah is the month of Muharram. He said, Shahrullah al-Muharram. And the best of the fast after the fast of Ramadan is the fast in the month of Muharram. So the general aspect of this month is that it's a sacred month, so we should make sure that we could do as many good deeds as possible and should avoid as much as possible from the prohibited deeds. So any prohibited acts, we should keep away from it because the sins, they will be greater in the sight of Allah. Imagine a person fornicating next to the Kaaba. Definitely is much worse than the person fornicating in Luton. Because if fornicating next to the Kaaba, then he's got no consideration to the place, nor to the time, nor to the violable things of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's why in the sacred months, we should be getting closer to Allah Azza wa Jalla. Sacred months are Muharram, Rajab, Dhul Qa'dah, and Dhul Hijjah. The months with Allah Azza wa Jalla has to be 12 months, as we know. Number 1 is Muharram, made by Umar al-Khattab radiallahu anhu, to be number 1, indicating the beginning of the Islamic year. This month include the day of Ashura. This Ashura was known to the Prophet ﷺ even before he received his prophethood. It was actually carried on from Ibrahim alayhi salam to Ismail and all the way along to Musa alayhi salam. And the Prophet ﷺ, before he received his prophethood, he used to fast this day along with the people of Quraysh, who they used to be on the religion, or they're supposed to be on the religion of Ismail alayhi salam. And when the Prophet ﷺ received his prophethood, he kept fasting that day. And then when he migrated from Mecca to Medina, he kept fasting that day. On the first year of his migration, The Prophet ﷺ met the Jews, whom he tried to get them closer to the Muslims. So he asked them, why do you fast that day, which he himself fasts? They said, for verily this is the day we believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved Musa alayhi salam and his followers, which are the children of Israel, from Fir'aun and his soldiers. That means the day of the splitting of the sea. So he said, we have more rights to honor our brother. And that is why from that moment he commanded from that day to be fasted. And it was before afternoon, after Fajr. He sent an announcer on the day of Ashura to say to the people who had fasted the day, let him continue until sunset, and who did not fast, he already had eaten, let him abstain and to continue fasting until the sunset. And the wives of the companions, they said, even our children, we made them to fast along with us. We made them toys made of wool in order to take their mind away from the hunger, and we made them to fast along with us until the sunset. So that day was compulsory for 1 year, until the following second year after Hijrah, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent the revelation, شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن, that is the month of Ramadan where Quran is revealed, and that is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the verse, فَمَنْ شَهِدَ مِنكُمُ الشَّهْرَ فَلْيَصُمْ, who had witnessed the month, sighted the moon the beginning of the month, and let him fast it. The abrogation, the cancellation of fasting of Ashura took place at that time. That means Ashura is not compulsory anymore, only 1 month for the Muslim to be fasted, and that is the month of Ramadan. But the Prophet at the same time, he said, if he wishes, let him fast. If he doesn't want to fast it, doesn't want to fast it. But the Prophet of Allah, this is the hadith now of Aisha, used to count for Ashura like he used to count for Ramadan. So he used to count, for example, for Ramadan, 2 months left, 1 month left, 10 days left, 5 days left, 2 days left. Same thing he used to count for Ashura. 1 month left, 2 months left, 5 days left, 1 day left. So he's to count for Ashura and make sure that he will fast Ashura. And he kept fasting it until the end of his life. And when the companions saw that their fast now of Ashura is resembling the Jews, so they came to the Prophet ﷺ just before he died, and he said, Messenger of Allah, we fast Ashura and the Jews fast Ashura. That means we are imitating the Jews. So the Prophet ﷺ, he said, if I live to the following year, I will fast the 9th. It doesn't mean I will fast the 9th and I will cancel the 10th, as been understood by some of the scholars, but it means I will fast the 9th along with the 10th, meaning to be different from the Jews. So I'll fast the 9th. It doesn't mean that I'll swap the 10th onto the 9th. No, because the 10th is still the day which has been honored before the prophethood. Before he knew that it was the day that Allah saved Musa al-Salam and his followers from Fir'aun's soldiers. He was honored. That day was honored from before Musa alayhi salam. Okay? So it's not because of, for example, if we found out, for example, this is the day when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved the Prophet Muhammad from the plot of the killing. We're going to celebrate it and go and fast it. We don't do that. Or this is the day in which Allah had saved Nuh alayhi salam and the ark. And then we got fast the day. It's not allowed. We only fasted because the Prophet of Allah fasted it. And on top of that, he said that fasting the day of Ashura is an expiation for the previous year. What more do you want? So this is an expiation for the year that passed. So I would not really waste it. Some of the Salaf was asked, why is it that when you journey, when you're traveling, if you are in Ramadan, you don't fast and you compensate? When it comes to Ashura and you're traveling, when you're traveling, you don't break your fast. So this Salaf, this person, when it comes to Ramadan and he's traveling, he will not fast. He will make up. And when it comes to Ashura and he's traveling, he'll fast the day. Why? He said, because the Ramadan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, فَعِدَّةٌ مِّنْ أَيَّامٍ أُخْرَى. If you are ill or you're traveling, then there is compensation on the days. But for Ashura, there's no compensation. It's only 1 day. If you miss it, that's it. You have to wait for the other Ashura. So it is an opportunity for everybody to sin expiate of whole past year by simply fasting the day of Ashura. And the sunnah as well is to add the 9th and the 10th. Am I allowed to fast the 10th on its own? Yes. Am I allowed not to fast the 9th and the 10th? Yes. So it's not compulsory. فَمَنْ شَاءَ صَامَ وَمَنْ شَاءَ لَمْ يَصُمْ. He wants to wish to fast, let him fast. The one who doesn't want to fast, let him not to fast. Yes, there are some of the companions who deliberately did not fast the day of Ashura. Some of the companions, because of the people thought that it is compulsory. So it's for them, they did not fast it. But still, this is a voluntary day. Can I fast the 11th? Yes, I can. I could fast the 11th, as is. The 11th is to be a day from Muharram. So fasting the 11th is to be a day from the month of Muharram. And doing good deeds in the month of Muharram, including the fast, and especially the fast. Because the Prophet always said the best of the fast after Ramadan is the fast in the month of Muharram. They could fast the 11th. So, let me now do something which is, say to you something, some of you did it, maybe some of you did not do it. I could, with my own intention, maximize my reward. Instead of having one bird in one single shot, in one single shot I could hit 2 or 3 or 4 birds. Today happens to be the 10th, or today as well is al-Ithnain, Monday. So for those who had fasted the day, if they were knowledgeable, they would have just had the intention of, number 1 is the 10th, and number 2, al-Ithnain. The Prophet of Allah used to fast al-Ithnain. I will have double reward. The reward of al-Ithnain and reward of al-Ashura. Tomorrow, if you want to fast it, I'll fast it because it is a day from al-Muharram. Okay? And for those who did not fast the 9th to be different from the Jews, they could fast the 11th to be different from the Jews. So remember, when you come to do, for example, your Tahiyatul Masjid, I mean, there's nobody's going to charge you for more intentions when you are doing it. Tahiyatul Masjid. So in your intention, when you do Tahiyatul Masjid, I don't have time for doing Sunnah. On top of it, Sunnah. Oh, I just made wudu, Sunnatul Wudu as well. So I'm adding Sunnatul Wudu and doing the normal Sunnah for the prayer, and I'm adding Tahiyatul Masjid to it. Start with Tahiyatul Masjid, of course. And all of those intentions, you're going to get reward for that. So do not forget that, brother. For verily, rewards is in front of you, and you need to all to know is just to learn how to maximize your effort to gain as much as reward as possible. And I think now is the adhan.
Allahu Akbar. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله ولتنظر نفس ما قدمت لغد واتقوا الله إن الله خبير بما تعملون. ولا تكونوا كالذين نسوا الله فأنساهم أنفسهم أولئك هم الفاسقون. لا يستوي أصحاب النار وأصحاب الجنة أصحاب الجنة هم الفائزون. لو أنزلنا هذا القرآن على جبل لرأيته خاشعا متصدعا من خشية الله وتلك الأمثال نضربها للناس لعلهم يتفكرون هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو الملك القدوس السلام المؤمن المهيمن العزيز الجبار المتكبر سبحان الله عما يشركون هو الله الخالق البارئ المصور له الأسماء الحسنى يسبح له ما في السماوات والأرض وهو العزيز الحكيم الله سمع الله لمن حمده الله أكبر الله الله أكبر الله أكبر الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين إن المتقين في ظلال وعيون وفواكه مما يشتهون كلوا واشربوا هنيئا بما كنتم تعملون إنا كذلك نجزي المحسنين ويل يومئذ للمكذبين كلوا وتمتعوا قليلا إنكم مجرمون ويل يومئذ للمكذبين وإذا قيل لهم اركعوا لا يركعون ويل يومئذ للمكذبين فبأي حديث بعده يؤمنون الله